Yes. Permit me to move on to the next item on the agenda. But before then, I want to say something very quickly also. Between invention and innovation, which one do you think is much easier? Innovation, because almost everything we wanted to do has already either been done or is in existence, but we can always improve it. So please let's try and be innovative. Okay, the next item we have on the program is panel discussion. That is interview of successful entrepreneurs. And I would like to call on Dr. Adebimpe Esan, the Director of Entrepreneurship, to handle the session. Thank you, and please a round of applause for her as she comes to the podium. Yeah.
Protocols to be observed. Greatest Nigerian students. Greatest Nigerian students. I want to commend you for participating in this program, and I hope you have been enjoying every bit of the program. Yes or no? Yes or yes? Don't worry, refreshments is coming. Okay? We are prepared for you. So this session, we want to interview all entrepreneurs seated here. We are going to call on them. So that you can gain from their experience. So the first person, we're going to be having a panel discussion. So the first person is Dr. Adebimpe Esan. He is the CEO of Sunshine Global Medical Center. Please stand up for recognition, sir. Also, we have Engineer Akinyode Victor. He's the CEO of Vinod Technologies. Unfortunately, he's an alumnus of Oye. A round of applause for him. He looks like he has a very small stature. But when he starts talking, you will know that he has a lot to offer you. Also, we have Mrs. Owajoba Busayo, the CEO of the Elegance Expertise Palace. Step forward. We have Dr. Adedara, the CEO of Pen and Podium Nigeria Limited. So we also have the CEO, King David Leadership Academy. Is also going to be one of the entrepreneurs that will be interviewed in this panel. So thank you very much. I'll be very brief, but please, our CEOs, you know you have a lot to offer us, but we will just give you 5 seconds to attend to the questions we'll be asking you. So briefly, we want to share your entrepreneurial journey. We want to know what motivated you as an entrepreneur, or let me just say, tell us the story. I'll start from Mrs. Owajoba. Tell us the story, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, you can. Or you can be seated. Whichever one. Just
yes, I would like to address this at Miss Owajoba.
Okay.
I'm a fashion designer. My fashion in Oye-Ekiti. I'm also the convener of the fashion exhibition, the only fashion show in the city. They gave us, I'll give 5 seconds. I don't know how that is going to stop it. I don't know. But the journey is a little bit, 5 seconds. The journey is a little bit hard. But I want to say I discovered myself. Before becoming an entrepreneur, the first thing you must do is set yourself. Self-discovery is the most important thing. What are the things you can offer? I actually graduated from University of I think that's X2 now, but I decided to stay because I saw a lot of gaps in fashion industry between Ekiti and Lagos and there because my parents were based in Lagos. I was supposed to relocate back to Lagos, but I decided to stay. And a lot of people were saying they cannot say a soul from fashion designers in Ekiti State because they don't know anything. So they will rather take their clothes outside Ekiti, And the thing is, the fashion thing itself, let me just say, my story is not, but let me just say, the fashion thing itself has always been something inside of me. When I had business around school area, I actually had someone that had a fashion store beside me. I was actually selling things. Because I struggled a lot. I was just selling all this Okita stuff. But I used to assist the lady to join clothes. When people saw from her, they would just say, Lizzie, you don't have staff. I would just say, don't worry. Yeah, pieces. I'll just gather them. Help her to just put things together. And then I discovered that this thing is interesting. There's much story to this, but the thing is, the first thing I would just say is self-discovery. What are the things you can do to to change your story, to also make life for yourself? Make things for yourself.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Round of applause for her. The next person, no, let me ask my question today because it happens to be one of our students in computer engineering. He graduated some few years back, and you will hear his story. So, how did you get started as an entrepreneur? And what motivated you to pursue this path?
Okay, let me start off. Great Nigerian students. Once a playwright, forever a poet, right? What motivated me, thank you so much for this opportunity. What motivated me to start entrepreneurship basically was from childhood, all right? My mom sells onions, so I've been in business since I was like age 10, 11. So, but then I realized that we faced problems. And one of the major problems we faced then was that we make money, but we don't know how the money disappeared, right? So then once I was privileged to get into the university, and after that I began to build software because I studied computer engineering. So I began to build software and freelance for businesses. And at a point now, I noticed the same problem because the businesses I was building software for were facing the same issues. So then after that, I decided to create my first company, which is the Bino Technologies. And the companies I was building for, and even myself that was building the company, I still face the same issue. All right. So and that led me into building tailor which is the AI-powered financial assistant for businesses and individuals that we have today. So one thing that summarizes my story is that champions eat challenges for breakfast. Whatever challenge you are facing right now, you are facing it because you are a solutionist, all right? You should be able to provide solution to that problem. My journey is long, but I would just like to make it short. Just have it in mind that you are a champion, even if you can consume and eat challenges as your breakfast. Thank you.
Maybe I should ask one question so that you just communicate at a very fast pace. So, sir, Dr. Adekara, um, how did you identify viable business opportunity? And what tools do you use to spot gaps in the market? You are the CEO, Pen and Podium Nigeria Limited.
Now, the first thing, what I do mostly, I want to identify problem is that I come with research. I do a Google form to know where, know the problem. And whatever I have in mind, I look at, for me to know if that business will sell, I have to come up with a survey. Either a Google form or a paper survey or face-to-face question and answer. The moment I'm able to do that, then I just go straight into the business.
Thank you, sir. Sir, the CEO at King David Leadership Academy, he has an announcement to make. Maybe I will permit him to make it now. before we proceed. He said he has a gift for the first runner up of a one-day Vice Chancellor Award. So he wants to do a giveaway. Then he also has a stand there. He has some things he wants to say. Maybe I should permit him to say this while he's answering this question. Tell us your story, sir.
Good afternoon. Before I start my story, I want to appreciate the lady that came up the other time. She did quite great. From the King David Leadership Academy, we train, we mentor, we empower. Right here today, we have at least 3 of our students from King David Leadership Academy who are fully sponsored and fully. Fully sponsored and fully. And again, we saw what the lady did. The last question that that's leadership, public speaking, delivering content. She knows where she's going, and we want to support her. So we'll be giving her a token, a scholarship of 100,000 naira. Going into my story, my journey is the journey of self-discovery. And I will still talk a little about this in my speech, so I think I should just hold it. But once you discover yourself, you are impossible to be stopped in your generation. Thank you.
So on to the CEO Sunshine Global Medical Center. What is your motivation? You started the hospital. What motivated you? What inspired you to start the hospital?
Good afternoon, everyone. So great to be here. For me, my story is I needed money and I cannot beg. And because I couldn't beg, I felt I need to increase my income. Number 2, I discovered that my needs were many and people looking up to me were many. And my resources are limited. I decided to increase my resources. Number 3 reason for what drove me into entrepreneurship is because I just wanted to help people. I just want to help people. I feel satisfied when I see people say thank you. And so I thought of what I could do to make people say thank you, and I invested into it. Not only that, I wanted to create a mark, make a mark, create a niche, look where I am planted, and make a difference in the land. Today, if I walk through Oye-Ekiti now, everywhere I go, sunshine. Some people don't even know my name, but they know sunshine.
This question will be directed to Ms. Owajoba. So, what's the toughest decision? The toughest decision you have ever made, and how did you approach it as an entrepreneur?
Yes, let me say, starting my own personal business, that's the elegant experience for us, was not even the most challenging part of it, of my life. The most challenging part was when I started the fashion show. I thought it was something very simple. That you just gather people, once you tell people like this that I want to showcase design, that people will start coming and all that. And I had a particular woman, and unfortunately, I'm the kind of person that doesn't really know people. I don't have friends. My business is my friend. I only have few friends. You can't impact my life, you cannot be my friend. So I select. So I had this particular woman, she's that spoken, she knows people and all that, and I relied on her. I thought, oh, I'm going to bring the funding part of it. I'm going to pay some designers and speak to some designers so that they come and showcase their brand, even for free, because that was the first time. So I relied on this particular woman that she was going to pull people for me and all that. Then she was going to take her designs. But unfortunately, 3 weeks to the event, I started calling her. She started. She left my phone. I didn't know much people. I didn't know that fashion business was going to. Fashion show was going to, got so much money. And I want to tell you, as I tell you that I just won 120,000 naira. The guy that came to, I'm just the type of person that I go for things that are very difficult. Yes, that's, I love to challenge. I love challenges. Challenge me, I will go for it. Even I tell my students, go for stars that you know that it's difficult for you to bring it to. That's my lifestyle. So I went for it. Even the person that came, I started telling people, please, I need somebody that can help me to plan this thing. The guy that came said he was going to collect 100,000 naira. 100,000 naira and I have 120. How am I going to pay for the video guys and all that? You know, I had the kind of spirit I got to do things. I said I thought some people, people I had around me was going to have the same kind of spirit. But no, there was big disappointment. And this particular woman that I relied on, we actually attended the same church. I'm a winner. The woman sent me a text that I'm sorry, I cannot be part of your show. The only person I thought was going to, help me talk to people, bring up people because she's a little bit influential. And she turned me down. Thank God it was on a Sunday. I danced the church and all that. When I saw the message, my hands were shaking. It was as if I didn't have blood in my veins and all. But I thank God. I didn't back down. It was so funny. Like the publicity was everywhere, and I was like, how do I do this? Who do I know? But thank God that I was not. I mean, I think I met a guy. His old school daughter was my old school daughter. So we met kind of guy. The lady introduced us in school in school area. But I met him at Portofino in Oye-Ekiti. I was supposed to just greet him and leave. But something just asked me to just still approach him. Thank God that I was not proud to ignore him. I approached him. And 1 minute greeting turned to 3 hours greeting. 3 hours meeting. Everybody I needed for the event came to that particular point. Before then, it was as if I should not have a good state. But thank God he showed up. Thank you very much. So the next question is going to the CEO of Digital Technologies. How do you handle failure and setbacks?
Wow.
And what do you think is the key to bouncing back?
Okay. Thank you so much for that. How I handle failure is that I try to remind myself of the why. Why am I doing this thing? All right. So the moment I know the reason why I'm doing it, that alone is enough to propel me forward. So at that point in time, once I've failed, I try to review how I've done it. I pick my lessons from it, and I don't dwell on it. So then, for me to bounce back, I sometimes have to remind myself at the same time of the things I've done that I was successful at. Then I'll be like, Victor, you did it. As an undergraduate, you finished with the first class. You are not a failure. You did this, you did this, you did this. So that sort of, try to remind me of, the kind of capacity I have that I'm not a failure. Like this just happened for me to take my lesson from it and then I go. So, but I ensure that I review it, I document my lessons so that such a thing doesn't repeat itself.
Thank you very much. The next question goes to the CEO, Pen and Nigeria Limited. How do you assemble and manage a team? And what qualities do you look for in a team member?
Thank you very much. Now, I remember in 2019, somebody enlisted me as one of the business group for Oye-Ekiti. And the task was to organize events in Oye-Ekiti. And that was the only people business group for this area. Now, and to do that, I had to look for partners. I have to go to this the Small and Medium Scale Business Association. I got the chairman. They also contacted the president of another group. I think about 2 or 3 groups. After contacting the president of these groups as partners, then just like I told you earlier on, I made a Google form for people who will be ready to work in different departments with their skills. A lot of people showed up and started a meeting. At the end of the day, we were able to host the program in 2019 as AB Foundation at that particular time. Since then, I've been able to discover that when you are starting a business, the first set of people you need is your partner. Just like she mentioned, after your partner, then you look at those people that we help, that we are in charge of different committee, then after that, with your idea, roll out the program. Thank you.
Next question goes to Prince Adebimpe. How has your leadership style evolved over time? And what do you think are the most important qualities for a leader?
I will begin from the last question. One of the most important qualities of a leader, number one, is ability to communicate clearly. When you have ideas and you don't know how best to communicate it, the best thing that you have put together will actually work away for you. So one key principle in leadership is communication. And that is why one of the keys we said at the King David Leadership Academy is the communication skill. For you to succeed in whatever walk of life, whether as a leader or even a team player, you need to learn how to speak. Speaking is so key to building quality relationships. Now coming to my leadership, I believe that leadership for me is quite innate because I was the first born in the family, so naturally I was leading the pack. Then when I got out of home, I discovered that everywhere I go to, even when I'm trying to hide myself, some things will force me to be discovered. I don't want to be seen, I don't want to talk to people, but somebody will locate me and say, you have something inside of you, come out here. And then I remember when I was on campus, from pre-degree I started leading in the fellowship, till I graduated. When I went for service, I was president of my CDS group. Then I was at the same time the president of my fellowship. I was at the same time president in the youth fellowship. So a number of things like that. Because I discovered when I was an undergraduate that I was supposed to teach in my life. So I came up with this idea. I walked up to the then VC, Professor Oye-Ekiti. I talked to him about this idea I had, and he told me, let me walk through it. And he said, when you get to service, make sure you bring it right. Little did I know that some things are going to just make it happen. As I got to the service here, a number of things just happened, and the execution of this idea began. Before I know what was happening, people were coming from different places to support that vision, and that vision led to the birth of my first organization, the School of Public Speaking and Entrepreneurship. So, for me, from that time till now, I've continued to grow in leadership. I cannot say presently I'm the president of the Young Professionals. To God be the glory, Young Professionals Forum in the state. I am. So for me, leadership has been innate, and God has helped me to go over there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. So the last step is the question to Dr. Omonijo. How do you keep your team motivated and productive? You have people working in your hospital, working for you. So how do you keep them motivated? How do you keep them productive as an entrepreneur?
One thing I've discovered in my journey as an entrepreneur is that there are 4 things you need. You need money, you need men, you need materials, and you need mindset. For money, of course, to be an entrepreneur, you need to do what is called IPC, income possibility circle. You must always learn to draw income possibility circle to get men and to get materials and to get money. Now, men, to get men and to keep men motivated. One thing I've learned is that when you invest in people, people will invest in you. If you don't plant a seed in people, you can't get anything back. One thing I do for my staff is that I give them incentives. I train them, I develop them, expose them to training, and I get back results. When you give people things, you invest in them a lot, you give them incentives, definitely they will respond to you positively. That's my style. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very wonderful. Incentive to your staff to keep them motivated. So I want to be going to we are moving to the end of this session. I'll direct this question to Ms. Owajoba. What strengths do you think are most important for entrepreneurs to be aware in your industry? You're in the fashion industry. So there are some students here who are also fashion designers, who are proposing to be fashion designers. So in that line of business, what trend do you think are most important for entrepreneurs to be aware in your industry?
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, I would like to say fashion is wide. Fashion is not just about cutting and sewing. Even as a makeover, you are into fashion. You fix nails, you sell fabrics, you are an rare person, and you do what is shirt on that neck, photo shirt and all that. You are into fashion business. Right. Okay. So I would like to say, as a student, I don't know how many fashion designers you have, and maybe you have been training and all that. Thank God for the opportunities that university have created. I would like you to, if you are so much interested in fashion, okay, pick your own area. It is not necessary that you see people sewing, you see Vicky James. Vicky James is creating and all that, she's making big money. And because of that, you want to jump into it. I tell you, you are going to make a big mistake. Okay? Like I had a particular student in my fashion school. This lady she had passion of sewing and all that, but I discovered that she doesn't have the capacity. Okay, she doesn't have what it takes. And I tried to give her, advice and all that. I studied that. I said, this girl, there's no, even if I should open your brain and put your clothes inside, you are not going to know it. It's not a cost. But I've seen, as a leader, you have to know the kind of people you are dealing with and all. I said, the only thing I can see about you, I said, you are good at the calculations, the mathematics. One of the selling fabrics is also fashion. Okay? Then, while you are still here, you can venture into fashion business even while you're still studying. I tell you. So look into any area that you know that you're fitting and you fit. If you want to start sewing, you can start right from your room with just one machine. Okay? If you want to go and you're interested in a makeover or something, please venture into it. You can start so low. In fact, fashion is the most simplest and is the cheapest business in fashion. As an entrepreneur, that you can easily venture and start as a business without having too much money. Okay, it's not that things are expensive now. Maybe when I started with just one machine. Somebody gave me 18,000 naira and I got my machine. And now I have about 12 machines in my organization. Okay, so because that was my own area of interest, don't copy others. Just look for your own area where you fit in, then go into it and start with whatever you have. Thank you.
This question will be directed to Prince David. What advice would you give to new entrepreneurs just starting out?
My simple advice is start from where you are. We always think about lofty ideas. I want to become this, but there is something you can do right where you are right now. About the problem, the young man that spoke the other time was talking about pain points. There are some issues around you that you are trying to deal with that you are complaining about. Pick those issues, start doing something about it, and you can open doors for greatness.
Thank you, sir. A round of applause. Where you have. I will direct this to Dr. Adegara. How do you approach personal development and what habits have contributed to your success? Personal development.
Now, what I do mostly is every month I make sure I buy books. And in my library, I have more than 300 books. When I say 300, that's understatement. Why? Because most times when I need someone to tell me something, and I find it difficult to get answer, I'll just go to the bookshop. I started reading books. Immediately I finished my secondary school. The first book I read was How to Win Friends and Influence People. Then after that, I read How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. So from there, in some of the books at the back there, the books of Robert Greene, I have about 3 or 4 copies of those books. And I make sure I keep them. That's a book I have on money. And what I do is this: I make sure that I develop myself in that area. Secondly, now I make sure I attend conferences. Conferences, not just conferences, academic conference, but different conferences. When I was living in Lagos, I usually check the pages of the newspaper to see seminars, workshops that will take place at Museum Center, the National Theatre, and all that. I make sure I attend. There was a particular one I attended, it was a book there. And getting to that place, I met those people selling books, and I told them I can help them to sell the books, and they made me part of their the people that will be giving books to. And apart from that, in June this month, there's a program going on in Lagos, which I have to attend. I make sure I join associations like the National Association of Small and Medium Scale Business. I'm part of that. And apart from that, I make sure I research to see the people in my field or in the areas I want. I'm the National Director for Word and Writing Contest, and I'm also the Vice President for Computer Teachers Association in Nigeria. What I do is that I make sure I look for what I want. You know, sitting here, I've been able to contact some of the people I have here to get their contact. I want to push it to you. How many contacts do you have in this school? Now we have about 50,000. Somebody mentioned. Do you have 2,000 people from different faculty in your phone? Thank you.
That's a challenge. See, of this, one of the objectives or one of the aims of this program is networking. Some of our students from Ekole, we brought them down here this morning. Just that you can network, you will hear from industry experts. What you are being taught in the classroom is not enough. And that is why a program like this is very, very good at this time. So try as much as possible to network. These guest speakers, they are young people, they are fathers and they are mothers. Get their contact. You can please, can you mentor me? I'm into fashion design. I'm a startup. Walk up to her, and I'm very sure she will render whatever help she has to offer for you. So I want to throw another question before we take the last one. I want to direct this question to Dr. Omonijo. How do you plan for growth and scaling your business? And what strategies have worked for you?
Well, for me, scaling up my business and growth, I discovered that leaders become leaders. And those who lead, they are those who lead. And those who lead are those who become what? Leaders. So if I want to have a leading business, I must lead to develop that business. So I read a lot to expand the growth of my business. Number 2 thing I do is that I make sure that I have mentors in business. Mentors in business. People that I look up to, that help me to scale up. People that have gone ahead of me, that I want to be like them, or even surpass them. I look for mentors in business. Then number 3 thing I've always told myself is that if you say to yourself you can, then you can. Also, if you tell yourself you cannot, then you will not. So my slogan is, I can do all things. I can be the best. Finally, one thing I've done that has helped my business to scale up is that whatever new thing I learn, I start now. You have learned any good thing today. When do you start? Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Lastly, the question will be directed to engineer Victor Akiyode. Where do you see your business in the next 2 to 3 years?
Okay. Thank you so much.
You are a young entrepreneur, and I'm happy that I am a lecturer. I'm happy that you are doing good in business. So I want to hear from you.
Okay, so I'll quickly start from here. So currently we are in conjunction with the largest bank in Africa, which is Access Bank. So we are partnering with them, and we are expanding into Ghana and Kenya and Nigeria. And beyond that, we want to, in the next 3 years, we want to ensure that we are automating financial activities for about at least 300,000 businesses in Africa. And then for individuals, because currently we have about 10,000 individual users and about 700 businesses right now. So in the next 3 years for individuals, we want to be dealing with like 10 million individuals. And then we want to ensure that we are digitizing this for them and then generating revenue from them. And beyond that, I want to start seeing my employees already doing well in their respective fields to at least holding great positions, ensuring that they deliver values to the community, just as the same way our business is doing. Thank you so much. So I'm pleased let me celebrate her. She taught me. I mean, it's not easy now. Let me celebrate her.
Thank you for that. You know when as a lecturer, the joy of being lecturer is seeing your students do well after graduation. And that is why we are preparing you. So that when you graduate, white collar job or no white collar job, you are doing very well in your business. Put a round of applause for yourself. In the next 1 to 3 years, I'm seeing you in high places in Jesus' name. So, on a final note, just 1 second, give your advice to this student. 1 second. Please, each person will give a final advice. Just, in fact, maybe I should say in 3 words.
Okay, I said it earlier. Discover yourself.
Okay, thank you.
Never overrate artificial intelligence.
Wow.
Look for mentor to mentor you in your area of expertise.
Thank you.
Excellence is full of your competence. Strive for excellence. Whatever you have learned, start now. Thank you very much, Dr. Adebimpe Esan, for sharing the panel discussion on interview of successful entrepreneurs. I was actually very, very excited. Yeah, because I learned a lot from the panel discussion. And thank you so much. Please, another round of applause to appreciate our panelists.